Hello everyone, you are on the Player Review channel. In this video, we will talk about the best right back and possibly left back in the game. Or is he really the best? Plus, we will compare him in detail with many alternatives, highlighting their weaknesses and strengths compared to Fantasy Maicon. So this video will be useful not only for those who got Maicon, but for everyone else as well. It's going to be really interesting, so stay tuned. Maicon is available for 30 wins in 36 matches of the Fantasy Cup, so not many people have managed to get him, but there's no need to worry. We'll go over the best alternatives to the Brazilian and more. Maicon has an average body type, is 184 centimeters tall, and has an incredible 5+5 star combination. For the chemistry style, you can apply Anchor for a primarily lengthy acceleration type. However, we ultimately settled on Shadow, so we would recommend that instead. His playstyles include Power Shot, Golden Whipped Pass, Bruiser, Block, Jokey, Golden Rapid, Trivela. In roles we see Fullback and Wingback ++ for the right back position as well as Fullback ++ for the left. Let's not forget that Maicon has a dynamic card and is tied to Inter's performances, meaning this card can become even better. Let's say right away that defensive pace is more than enough. The card has nearly maxed out speed stats, but more importantly, it has a partially lengthy acceleration type. Maicon is not only incredibly fast over long distances, but he also accelerates excellently, as seen in this example with yet another successful tackle. Now let's see how quickly the Brazilian gets back. As you can see, the speed is solid, so you can safely push him forward in attack. He will in most cases return before the opponent sets up a successful counter. Now, let's talk about interceptions. Maicon has max interception stats with Shadow, but he lacks the trait. How much does this affect his game? Honestly, not too much, so the ball rarely bounces away. Still, it does happen, so stay sharp and remember to release the sprint button when intercepting the ball. Regarding tackles, things look pretty good. The key is that Maicon has solid aggression and a strong body type. This allows him not just to win tackles, but to outright bulldoze opponents, including stronger ones. On the other hand, the absence of anticipate does have an impact. You can see this in this example, where the ball bounces away after a challenge. Or in the next one, where he completely misses the opponent, meaning Maicon doesn't always hit the ball precisely. Plus, he can let the ball slip right past him, partly due to the lack of anticipate and the intercept playstyles. The lack of anticipate is most noticeable when trying to tackle from behind against a big opponent. Again, the accuracy of the challenge isn't always there, and the ball keeps bouncing back to the opponent instead of sticking to Maicon's foot. That's why it makes sense to use his bruiser trait more often by pressing the X button or to tackle from the side rather than from behind. But in general, his speed and strong body type do a good job of compensating for the lack of key defensive traits. Sometimes you don't even need to press the tackle button. Just position yourself correctly to push the opponent off the ball. Again, thanks to his body type, Maicon frequently outmuscles opponents, which can be a lifesaver in dangerous situations inside the penalty area. Speaking of which, he is useful not only in his own box, but also in the opponent's, especially since he can finish chances with both his right and left foot. This brings us to Maicon's massive attacking potential, and honestly, it's hard to overestimate his value in attack. For example, look at his agility on the left stick and this powerful strike into the near post. Maicon is like a train similar to Bale, maybe with slightly less top end speed and a less explosive speed boost, but with an equally strong body type and balance. Just check out this attempt by Theo to block his run. Long story short, Maicon is a powerhouse. By the way, if you want, you can even use Maicon on the left, where he will be just as effective at driving into the box. You might argue that he is better suited to playing on the right for Trivelas. However, that doesn't mean he can't score shots like this, or simply blast the keeper with powerful shots from distance, like in this example. If there's one thing Maicon is known for, it's legendary long shots, and if you've seen him play in real life, this shouldn't surprise you. That said, Maicon truly shines on the right wing. His Trivelas are probably among the best in the game, at least among defenders. That makes him a perfect choice for those who use a right wing back to support offensive plays and frequently attempt Trivelas. At the same time, Maicon is not the smoothest on the left stick, so you should use skill moves more often to advance the ball, although his powerful body provides something like the press-proven playstyle, making it easy to shield the ball from opponents. And we can't forget his Golden Whipped Pass. To be fair, we rarely use it, but remember, it's useful not only for classic crosses into the box, but also for switching play across the field, something you should occasionally take advantage of. Moreover, these crosses work beautifully with Trivela since it triggers automatically, as seen in this clip. As you know, in EAFC 25, the rewards for the Weekend League are awesome, which means that the game has become much harder to play. Our boosters will help you to get the best rewards. Write in, because the number of spots is limited. And don't forget that we also sell coins at a cheap price. All links in the description. So, is this the best card in its position? Yes and no. In terms of versatility, it is undoubtedly the best option in the game. Even before upgrades, Maicon is the perfect defender to support attacks and a solid option for defense. Again, not perfect, but solid, thanks to his aggression and body type. The main feature of Maicon is that he is extremely well balanced and can do everything. If you want, you can even play him on the left side, replacing Theo Hernandez. However, we don't really see the point in that, as the card is best suited for the right back position, especially as an attacking fullback, thanks to his insane Trivelas. In fact, the only one who can compete with Maicon in Trivelas is Maicon himself, his previous version. Meanwhile, the 90 rated Maicon is no longer as good as he was at the start of the year. Even Dumfries is better now, but more on him later. In the near future, we should see evolutions for 90 rated cards, which will allow us to partially recreate the fantasy version. You already know how evolutions transform cards, but if we're talking about right now, the fantasy Maicon is far superior to his 90 rated version. Continuing with Trivelas, we should mention Cancelo. He has top-tier interceptions, which Maicon sometimes lacks. But in every other aspect, the Brazilian is better, especially with his strong body type and aggression, as Cancelo is softer in duels. The same applies to Tori Cafu. Yes, Cafu is more aggressive and tenacious, but he's still not an ideal fullback in our opinion. He simply lacks mass. Though, his Trivelas are great due to the trait, but his standout feature is his collection of defensive traits and top-tier left stick dribbling, which is better than Maicon's, which is not surprising, considering his smaller body type and height of 176 centimeters. But you know who we'd choose over Cafu? Carvajal, because the Spanish is even more aggressive than Cafu and feels faster than the Brazilian. His body is clearly stronger and more powerful. Yes, his left stick is a bit worse, but he has press proven, which provides better ball control under pressure, arguably more important than agility for a fullback. Still, if we had to choose, Maicon is the most interesting, not only due to his high attacking potential or body type, but also because of his partially lengthy acceleration type. This is actually an extremely important factor, even for a fullback, because a partially lengthy type ensures better top speed over distance when chasing an opponent. For example, this works well for 91 rated Kyle Walker. His golden quickstep and lengthy acceleration type make him exceptional in this regard. In general, Walker is very similar to Maicon in playstyle. Again, his only drawbacks are the lack of Trivelas and skill moves, if those even matter to you. In terms of reliability, Walker is definitely not worse than Maicon and is arguably better in traits. However, Walker's price is quite steep, to say the least. That's why we'd recommend looking at Dumfries. Yes, we've been hyping this card for a while now, but believe us, it's for good reason. If you need a strong, reliable player who can keep up with all the speedsters, or when he can't, simply bulldoze them, then Dumfries is your guy. Honestly, we like him so much that we wouldn't swap him at all. Of course, Maicon is much more interesting, especially in attack. But if you didn't pack him and have a limited budget, try Dumfries, particularly if you don't often push your fullbacks forward. By the way, we recently tested Pavard as a right back due to his similarly large body type and partially lengthy acceleration. Honestly, he felt too heavy for this position and, surprisingly, lacked speed at times. But as a center back, he's quite good. So if you got him untradeable, definitely give him a chance in central defense. And let's not forget similar alternatives like Carlos Alberto and Thuram. Of course, they lose to Maicon, not just in acceleration type, but also in versatility. So, they have no place in attack. But as right backs who stay at home, they perform solidly. Again, we already have a review of Carlos Alberto and a comparison with Thuram on the channel, so we won't dwell on it too much. The last player we'd like to highlight is Fantasy Baku. To be honest, this guy was a revelation for us. He is very fast, quite aggressive and tenacious, and he costs next to nothing. So if you're on a budget and need a strong yet balanced right back, give him a try. Of course, there are many more interesting cards in the game, like Sacha Boey. Despite having a small body type, some consider him the best right back in the game. And we totally understand. He's really solid, but we'd still prefer Dumfries or someone similar. Let's not forget the many evolutions available, including for Dalot or Zambrotta. These guys also have excellent body types. So as you can see, if you didn't get Maicon, there's no need to be upset. The game has plenty of great options, some of which might not be obvious to most players but are perfect for you. In short, don't chase only the high meta cards if your current players fit your playstyle, especially when it comes to defenders. One more thing, Maicon is primarily a wingback who drives attacks forward and possesses insane shooting, but he is not an ideal defensive player. He objectively lacks traits. However, this can be fixed if Inter manages to upgrade his card. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we'll try to reply quickly. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on quick and interesting reviews. We give Fantasy Maicon a 9.4 rating for card quality and remind you that detailed ratings will be available tomorrow on our Twitter. Thanks for watching until the end and see you in the next videos.